want to grow as a grower? Are you tired of being put to sleep by your educational growcasts? Are you tired of hearing about products you don't fucking want and can't afford? Are you tired of being told how you should grow? Hi, I'm Johnny Apple, and joining me is everyone's favorite amphibian, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Join us as we sift through the bullshit on the internet and try to get better as growers. This is Your Average Grow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man, what's up?
Not much, but I was stalking your pictures and social media, and I got a question, man. You've got some like 8-foot behemoth outside that you're not talking about. What the hell?
Not quite 8. It's like 6
No.
foot. I have it. Well, it's 6 foot with the earth box.
Yeah,
But it's the Kraken from 7 East, 7 East Genetics, and man, it's raging.
It's fucking happy, dude.
It wasn't, and it was getting eaten. It's still every once in a while I still find a Japanese beetle on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this is a second run. This is a new fill on the earth box. I filled it with what the hell did I use? Coast of Maine.
Okay. Stonington?
Stonington blend. Yep. So I got it at the local gardening shop. They had a bag of that. It was relatively cheap. I said, screw it. I'll just fill an earth box with that for now. And she grew so quickly. She outgrew the 7 gallons worth of that I put in there, and she started to get deficient. And I was like, oh, crap, I'm already behind. And I could start to see she was getting eaten a lot by the Japanese beetles. There was something or other flying around on it. And I said, well, I better get this thing top dressed quickly. I gave it some of the capsaicin spray. And then top dress the crap out of it. When it started, you could start to see the new growth greening back up again. And it was like, okay. So then I just mounted another top dressing on a week later, just because I was already behind. So
Makes a lot of sense.
I think she might be starting to pre-flower. I know we're coming up on August and we're going to start crowning that 14-hour down into the 13-hour left of daylight time frame. So wouldn't surprise me that she's not seeing all of that. She's not in direct sun. So it wouldn't surprise me she's starting to flower or pre-flower, but they need to hurry up either way, because around here, if they're not done by October, you're in trouble.
Really? Is that the start?
It starts getting really wet around that time. You start getting those fall rains and just the fall cool temps, and
yeah, that's right.
Prone to bud rot.
You're in places that actually get seasons. I have to remind myself, and not to come off like a dick, but it is something I don't think about. It's silly of me. What a closed-minded view of the world. Anywho, I actually wanted. I know that you mentioned it briefly, but I wanted to talk about deficiencies in organics, because I think it scares a lot of people. Obviously, right? I don't know necessarily why, but hopefully we can solve some of their fear. But you noticed that you were getting deficient, and so what was your first thought? Like, how did you basically not panic and trust the organic?
Well, I know that I use crap.
By the way, it's okay to make fun of that. You should duly insult me for saying not panic that you can.
No, because I mean, that's what does happen. People start freaking out. Like they see there's something, and it's not specifically, I won't say that. It is with the cannabis community specifically. They start to see these and they freak like, oh no, man, what's going to happen? I've got this. What do you think deficiency this is? How do I fix this? And I think that comes from the prohibition growers, hydroponic growing, and growing in like trying to create this perfect environment and have this perfect harvest and selling it on the black market, because that's how you're making your money. I get it, but it's a plant. So just knowing that if your plant's at its healthiest, it's going to be less prone to rot. It's going to be less prone to this and less prone to that, and less prone to the bugs coming and eating it, because bugs want an unhealthy plant.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't have its defenses up, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
it's an interesting thought too. Like with the pests, people I think often forget that a quick way to a really good IPM is a healthy plant.
It really is. I have more and more issues when I've forgotten to do something, or I've lacked on tea that I've been meaning to do because I know that I had a drier soil, like at Dad's with his beds being down for so long. We have that one bed that's getting a little behind, and we knew it was missing that the phosphorus when we got the soil test. So, and I didn't do anything. I put the plants in there and was kind of waiting. And then I was like, oh shit, I already know I'm behind. So I top dressed with the calcium phosphate craft blend and some lobster compost. Just with organics, it's a little more forgiving when you have an abundance of. Like, you don't want to be super high in anything, but when you have an abundance, it's a little more forgiving than when you have a deficiency. Like it's weird how that works. Like, you would think it would be the same both ways, but it's not. Like, when there's an abundance of something, yeah, you for sure, I'm sure, if you've done something crazy, like way overdid a specific, like you put molybdenum in there or something and way overdid it, like, sure, there's going to be a problem.
Well, and
right?
Or if there's whatever the I can't blanking on words, but when you put too much alfalfa, for instance, like there are things that you can do that will shock your plant and do fucking gnarly, crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
But
for
top
sure,
dressing isn't going to generally be one of them. If you're not putting,
it's going to be a lot more forgiving.
Absolutely, it's the lazy approach to gardening.
Well, it's simple, man. That's why I switched to, like, I was trying to, like, even organic growing in a small pot, like what you see on YouTube videos when somebody grabs a bag of Roots Organics and top dresses with 284 and 444. It's like, what in the fuck? This doesn't seem like organics to me. It still seems like manipulated, natural inputs.
Yeah, it's
but like it still just doesn't. It's missing the mark. Like, you're not. Organics is more like a living soil environment. That's the way I look at it. So there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean,
I prefer to, like, it wouldn't say I'm an organic grower. I try to be a more of a living soil grower because I want the microbes, and I know that the fungi and it's just more balance. It's more trying to mimic nature.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just definition, and then you're getting into more labels and stuff, and that's I think I get what you're saying. They're doing the organic nutrients. There's nothing wrong with it, of course, and I've done it. It's just when in your mind you'd rather have a whole cycle or environment, basically ecosystem, because
I'd rather give them the buffet.
You want. It's what you want personally. Yeah.
I'd rather give them the buffet and let them choose from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of giving them meat, starch, and vegetables, I'm giving them the buffet of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, them choose how it's, but there's a balance to that too. You gotta kind of know what your soil is, whether you're top dressing simply with something has everything in it, like a craft blend and a trusted compost source, or you have to get soil tests.
Well,
like,
yeah.
There's,
if you don't know what's being
farmers
depleted,
get soil tests. Exactly. Farmers get soil tests. Even the regenerative farmers who are doing a living soil and a living nature approach, they still get soil tests because they still need to know, okay, well, maybe I need to grow some alfalfa this year and then have the cows come and eat that down or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, especially on like regenerative and all of that stuff, you're helping nature, but you're still trying to fast track it, and that's why you that's why you need tests. Like when we're growing, no matter how big the bed, each plant isn't going to take the same amount out each time. And so if you want to play, if you want to reset it quicker and stuff, you got to get tests, because if you want to go through and let nature do its thing, it takes a fucking long time.
It for sure can.
So
Yep,
if you
but
get soil tests, you know you can speed it up, because you can go, okay, we're short on this, I'll load this. There's no shame in it. I think more people should do it.
yeah, it's really not that expensive. Like, I mean, big bed. If you're gonna have your soil for 10 years, maybe get some soil tests or whatever. But
Yeah.
a few runs in an earth box, you could probably bang out pretty quickly with some simple top dressings and some compost on top. I think
Yeah.
you could probably get a few runs out of them without having to worry too awful much. That's the beauty of an earth box, is it really does mimic nature. You're getting the clean water at the bottom and you can mound the shit out of it. That's
Yeah.
why
Okay.
I did it with the Kraken. It's literally starting to mound up over where it's like it was starting to run off the sides a little bit.
It's an impressive mound. It's not the first time you've heard that, of course, though. No, I think that's part of the issue. Like I didn't enjoy growing organics in a small pot. You got to do more. You have to stay more on top of it than I think my sanity and time would allow. Right, like the amount of gardening that you actually have to do if you do hand watered 5-gallon pots or something is a lot.
Well, yeah, and then there's different mixes you use for
Mm-hmm.
veg and for flour. It's like, dude, it's soil. Give it what it needs all the fucking time. Let it choose when it wants to take it and when it doesn't, but always have it available.
Yeah, which of
I
course
don't
only
like that.
works when you have a big battery. Like there are obviously like space reasons, right? Like I can't put down a big bed where I'm at, multitude of reasons. But I found personally, if you're on the fence, I will just say I found that an Earthbox or a city picker or any do-it-yourself SIP sub-irrigated planter literally makes everything so much easier that like I couldn't imagine doing 5 gallons hand watering ever again. Organics just
Oh
gets
no.
so much easier, and it's such a simple step up. It's only a few more gallons, right? But it just makes
The
all
pot
the
size
yeah.
doesn't even take up that much more real estate going from a 5-gallon to a 15.
Yeah.
I was able to get maybe 3 15-gallon pots in my 2x4 or 3. Now I went through a hard pot then. So I had 3 5-gallons and then I switched to 2 15s. It's
Mm-hmm.
still more soil.
Yeah.
It's twice as much soil by doing that. And then I only needed to grow 2 plants and have
It's
way more yield.
and it's also so much easier. It takes a
It
lot
really
of
was.
work away. But
Yep.
there is something to be said that everybody who wants to, I mean, I guess nobody should ever be forced to do anything. That's fundamentally against what YAG stands for. But the experience of trying organics in a smaller pot is definitely something a lot of people should try, because it will definitely make you appreciate the big batteries.
It really helped. It really did help me to understand what was going on.
Yeah, the soil, just the understanding the soil web, right, is so much easier if you kind of see the difference in just slowly expanding sizes and stuff. I encourage it, but that's as far as I go.
Living soil, when I first started growing cannabis for medicinal use, it was really a mind fuck to me, because when I had gardens before, I never thought about the soil needing nutrients or this, that, and the other thing. I just always fucking tilled up my yard and planted some seeds and mulched it.
Yeah,
I never
same way.
thought about this and the other thing until I started growing in a small pot, trying to get the best yield, and really started to understand it. And then I was like, oh, okay. Makes sense.
Oh yeah, I
Oh yeah.
I think I encourage anyone like that wants to learn more about gardening, to like in general to learn how to cultivate cannabis. Like it's I can't say that because I just get excited by it, obviously, and it's medicine, so I'm very biased in saying it. But I learned more and put more into practice because of this hobby than most other hobbies I've ever had.
My outdoor garden was designed around a no-till cannabis growing system. My raised beds are the exact same soil recipe as my indoor beds.
Yeah, see, that's
and I
super
treat them
cool.
the exact same way.
Yeah, and you have that cool closed system. Like, we'll do it. I really want to do an in-depth dive one time on your whole setup when you've got it perfected, because it is something to strive for, of course. But no, I think all of that organic talk is good. But I think one thing to stress is, like, I'm doing a second run now in the Earth Box. Like, I'm following your advice and doing it, and I always show new pictures of stuff, and I've got little things going on here new, because I've introduced new things and stuff, but it's really nothing to worry about. And I think that if we can impart that, like, you're not everything's going to be perfecto, but it'll get close enough.
Exactly. I think I had posted a picture of my outdoor garden, and somebody said something about, dude, you need to take a flamethrower to whatever's eating your plants. It's like, let them eat. The plants are healthy enough. Look at the broccoli, not the
Yeah.
leaves.
It,
The
it
broccoli
wasn't
is
it
what I'm
wasn't a
after.
cannabis plant. It wasn't a cannabis plant, because people would think you're fucking insane. You were talking about like kale or something.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
even the same thing. Like,
to a certain extent. I don't know.
if you're not riddled with bugs and
Yeah,
mildew and this, that, and the other thing, you're gonna get a harvest. It might not be the best. You'll learn from it, but don't
yeah,
beat yourself up and like stress over it, man. There is no difference. There is almost zero difference between the way a tomato grows and the way cannabis grows. Cannabis grows more. They have cross sections, whereas tomatoes, they kind of keep going and branching off in different ways, and cannabis would the same exact way. When you're cutting suckers off a tomato plant, it's the same thing as defoliating or cutting off lower branches.
yeah. And one of the strategies for peppers is to top, which is obviously something that is similar with cannabis. I mean, like, the gardening tips you learn with cannabis are universal.
Yep.
And it is
It's
just cultivate. It's shepherding nature. As silly as that sounds, like, that's the best that we can attempt to do. Nature's gonna nature. We can either gently nudge it or just ride it, man.
right on. And speaking of that, I wanted to bring up talking about those the indoor earth boxes I got, and
Yeah.
mimicking nature and lack thereof on those, because we flipped them after a single week of being a veg.
Oh yeah.
We flipped them to 12-12.
How's it looking so far?
They're flowering. But
How
how long
big are
ago
they?
did we do that? So
That
that
was a
was,
week ago, 2 weeks ago.
yeah, almost 3.
Fuck, 3.
That was the July 11th we flipped them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wait, July
and
11th, and it's when was it?
the 28th.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Little over
Little over 2 weeks.
almost 3 weeks, and they're finally starting to flower. I'm thinking they're about week 1, but what I was finding is they were so young that they weren't mature enough to flower. I think we should have given them another week and then flipped them, because I think all I did was I gave them 2 weeks at 12-12 instead of an additional week at 18-6, because they just weren't mature enough and they didn't have enough light to have that extra 6 hours of growth every single day.
Yeah.
So I think it slowed them down in that early stage. I don't think there was any sort of benefit other than I am going to enjoy the size of these. There's 4 plants in a 2x4 in 2 earth boxes. I've top dressed them, and I think they're going to be a manageable size where I'm not going to have to worry about too awful much, like overpacking the tent.
Oh, right on. No, and it is really interesting because, it took, what, 2 weeks for them to get to the point where they were sexually mature enough to flower, right? They still got to get to sexual maturity.
Yeah. Yep. They
And
have to
so,
get to sexual maturity before they even can go into flower. It was like, I think I slowed it down a little bit, maybe
yeah,
slowed the process down.
so that is really, yeah, that's it. I mean, it would come in handy if you wanted to. I guess you could theoretically start your seeds in just the 12-12 and keep rocking it. But yeah, you're depriving it Really?
You can't. I am taking a look at one because I'm starting to see the sexual maturity, but it's weird because now I'm seeing pistols, but it looked like it might have been balls on the lower on some of the lower. So I think I might have had one herm, but I gotta look closer because it's still those immature nodules.
Yeah.
Polyps or
You
whatever
gotta
the hell underneath.
you gotta inspect the balls, dude. Always.
Yeah. Always inspect the balls.
Always inspect. Always inspect. Yeah, that's super exciting, dude. Where how so sorry, I just got fucking so many questions I would ask. No, the when did you top dress D2 and how much did you actually like did you fill just one bag and then top dress the rest? Or did you, because you were doing two, fill the earth box as high as you could?
These are second round earth
Okay.
boxes. Neither one of them were top dressed before because that's incorrect. Is that incorrect? No, neither one of them were top dressed before because they both only had a smaller plant in them.
Okay.
So they didn't use up the nutrients that were in there. So they never got top dressed. Like you watch for feeder roots and that sort of stuff. And I was looking at the plant and it was like, yeah, you really don't need a top dressing. 7 gallons was enough soil for you. 7 gallons of Build a Soil Light is what I started both of those with. But now that there's new plants in there and they started to go, same thing. I top dressed with Craft Blend Kashi and Build a Flower.
Right on.
And I put a pretty good amount of Build a Flower in there. Sprinkled a good amount of Craft Blend and a little bit of Kashi just to kind of boost things going. And
Let it rip.
I watered in with some hydrolysate and microbes, and then watered down the bottom and let them go. Give them a little defoliating and seem to be happy. Now check this out. There's 2 banana milks, a Godfather OG, and then the sauce. But I think I found my Godfather OG pheno.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Because of the 5 that I grew last time, 4 of them were very identical, except for this one and its growth structure. It was the longer, stretchier, like olive oil looking, like almost like a haze grower.
Yeah.
And it was the only one that did that. And now I've got 2 right next to each other. And one of them is a short, stockier, same thing, kind of indica leaning or wide leaf leaning. And this other one is getting really lengthy and stretchy. So it's like, oh man, that was that same pheno. What? That would be so crazy.
That would be perfect.
So, I also, man, I don't know. I have the 1 cut of my Hella Jellies, so I don't think I'm going to take cuts. Like, I think I was just going to run these as kind of an autoflower run, flipping them that 12-12 and just have some extra medicine laying around.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool experiment anyway. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, we knew what was going to happen, but
I might. Now, there's a sauce in Dad's plant that is just beautiful. I am definitely taking a cut of that, man. I have only defoliated and the lowers are coming up and trying to give it this even canopy. And it's like, oh yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to take a cut of that just because I love the way she's growing. She's just towering over the plant next to her too. She's twice the size of it and they're both sauce.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah.
Yeah,
you mentioned like different plants take up different shit at different time. There's 3 different genetics in Dad's 4x4. You got the blueberry, the banana milk, and Godfather OG. And the Godfather OG is the only one that isn't showing any signs of any sort of deficiency or anything. The banana milk, I think, it has this like weird hyper yellow tip, but it fans out. It's not like just a yellow tip. It kind of fucking fans out. And then the blueberry has kind of a speckled pattern on the inside of the fingers, like on the actual meat part of the leaf, the finger leaf. And when I saw both of those, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't put that phosphate in there. And it's weird how you can see like this one plant isn't any deficient and this one is, but it was like, okay, well, this one's showing you what the soil's missing. You need to put a top dressing in there.
You should have fixed the issue.
Yeah,
That's what
should
it's
have done
telling
it.
you. Yeah. No, that's
So I
that's pretty
sprinkled in a
trippy.
little of the phosphate and then same thing, craftland and blah blah blah.
It's gonna be a good flower. I'm excited to watch that tent too. You make sure to document it this time.
Yeah, dude. But I was looking at some of those pictures you sent me, and I noticed something in the background of your solo cups
This is
are
where you're
sitting
gonna
on
blast me.
your solo cups are sitting on a 2x6, dude.
Yeah. It's sitting on, actually, it's this. I have a ton of this. I had a 2x4 and I cut them into pieces. And I was using that to raise and lower certain things. And I just had them laying around. And so when I was doing the solo cups, I used them. But I have so many of them, in my defense, that I don't think either one of them have been through the full cycle in a tent.
Well, the only reason I brought it up is because I was like, it's natural, it's wood. So when you're giving it a high temp, high humidity environment, is it asking for issues, or do you think it would be okay?
Well, here's what I think. I didn't really think about it, which is fucking stupid, right? Because if you put yeah, I know. God forbid I forgot to think about something all the time. No, if you put untreated wood in a hot and humid environment, it's gonna fucking trip out, right?
Yeah, like have some sort of growth growing on it, or
something. I mean,
invite ants or some sort of bug. It potentially could in the long run. Yeah.
I would imagine, and I'm sure it's overreacting, right? Or being overly sensitive to your fears, but it just seems like there's a reason that you should avoid it, because it's really just inviting nothing but bad, right? Because I would imagine it would soak up a lot of humidity, right? And
yeah, well, it's absolutely
it's
gonna,
untreated,
sure.
yeah, because it's just untreated lumber, so it's going to suck up a bunch of humidity, and that just fucking wet logs in your grow tent. It is recreating nature to a little bit, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just super overdoing it. You don't know how much I get into
you
this.
Fucking overachiever, you.
Yeah, no, it's something that you brought to my attention, and I was like, I fucking hadn't thought about it. And so I was thinking about it after you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, like luckily I've only done 2 runs where I've had solo cups sitting on, because I'm using it like a shelf underneath the shelf, basically underneath these 2x4s that are cut into little, blocks, are plastic risers. So those are fine. But the top shelf is this, I think there's 3 of them in my Alabrije tent right now. But yeah, even though, like, let's say they did go now, I've ran that thing almost 100 days, so that'd be on almost a year now, 200 days, That can't be good.
Well, no. What happened to the zip tie idea?
Well, it worked, but then I became I could only fit so many, and I was doing like bonsai, right? And so I was like, oh, I messed with the flat surface, but I could replace it. I don't know. I've got to rethink it, because I got to be honest, I got so busy with work that those solo cups are a disaster.
Why? They didn't look bad.
They're not too bad. They're just straight up and down, no side branching. That it's all different kinds of.
Than last time.
Yeah, they didn't get shit. I just gave them their first tee. Like, you can get away with that on big containers, as we were saying, but
yeah.
I failed them, and so I think I'll have to rethink it next time and how I approach it. But I wouldn't. With you having said that, have I addressed it? No.
Well,
Will
yeah,
I?
cool.
Will I? Yes, I should. I think at the very least, I'll cycle them out, right?
Yeah.
Because I have others, so I could do that temporarily. But I would imagine. What do you think? I could. It's overreacting, but I'd imagine the worst thing that could happen was some fungal bullshit, right?
Yeah. Realistically, you're probably fine, but maybe next time just stop using that one.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm
Put
gonna
it up
do.
on some milk crates or some 5-gallon buckets or 1-gallon buckets, or use the zip ties, or
Yeah, I think there's much more appropriate ways to do it, or just don't do it.
or
Can do it.
find a guy who owns a machine shop and machine
Have
something
American
that would work
something.
a little bit.
Dude, I wish I knew one. No, I'm kidding, of course. I was fucking Jackleg said something the other day too. He goes, if only you knew a guy who could make something. And I was like, God damn it. But yeah, I mean that's neither here nor there. There are solutions and I will find one, of course. But it was a good thought because and I think this is something that can be done correctly. But when you get like, especially if you're doing something often and you see the same thing every day, if you get another set of eyes on it, it's always great, right? Like if you do
Yeah.
something, it's always great to be like I do it with you all the time. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And I've had a lot of dumb fucking ideas.
And it's the contrary is also true.
Yeah. It's always like, okay, that was a thought, but what about all of these variables? And you're like, oh, that's right. Because it's true. You get into like a feedback circle, right? Where you have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
you think it's going to work, but you don't think of any. You think you thought of everything, but you didn't.
What I fucking hate about that is I always get shot down. As soon as I bring up this genius idea that I can find zero fucking flaws with, I bring it up to doesn't matter who the fuck it is. I can bring it up to a 2-year-old fucking little child and he'll go, yeah, you're fucking stupid. You can't do that. And I go, God damn it, man. How'd you find the flaw so quickly?
The problem is that you've decided on this idea after like joint 7 and it's noon
Yeah.
and you're like, hey man, I know we haven't figured out flight yet, but when we do, fuck drive-throughs, fly-throughs.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But no, I mean, it's always good. Like another set of eyes, I think, is always a bonus. And that's a terrible side tangent to take from all of that. I think we should focus more on my dumb ideas.
Like wood on top of single solo cups you didn't have time for in the first place.
Exactly. Or the one time I vented into like a 4-inch vent into the 6-inch vent, but it was like right after the 6-inch fan. So the 6-inch fan was just blowing it straight back into the 4-inch duct. That was the fun like day of like, why is this tent so fucking hot? Anyhow,
What's going on here?
it's always everybody makes mistakes. It's fun to share them and learn from them. That's why I like taking pictures of my plants no matter what, man. Look at this nonsense. Look at what I've done to this poor innocent plant.
Right.
But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. We had something else we wanted to talk about. Fuck.
Yeah, well, we're how's your haze growing still?
Oh yeah, we can go along with that.
Well, everything in your tent is haze, isn't it?
Yeah, right now everything is, and I don't want to give away too much, but there's some more coming too. But
Nice.
The Hubba Bubba Haze is getting really big. She's so beautiful. I very much enjoy her, but there's something slightly going on with her. I showed you that picture earlier. Nothing serious. I just think I was maybe a little too late in giving the first tee. Maybe we'll see. Same thing with the Mandela Effect by Night Owl. She's a bit shorter, but she's healthy. They're both loving life right now. I just gave them the tea last night, and I gave them some more of my sprouted tea, my sprouted seed tea. I did alfalfa. It was a little late for alfalfa, but it was the first time I was doing it, so I kind of wanted to. Mung bean and then barley. And
Nice.
yeah, and they very much were happy this morning, and so is all my patio. For actually, right now is by far the best my patio outside has looked. With I've got quite a few sunflowers going and some. It's all that's so live. All the peppers that Herb sent me are dead.
Oh no.
I know it's terrible. He's gonna stop being our friend, but it's really
Not
his.
me.
It's his fault. He's seen my plants. He's like, I don't know why he thought I could grow shit. No, he's a great guy. But going back, yeah. So I just gave them their teas, and Juicy's just fucking killing it. She's a beauty.
Yeah, she is.
She's in her own tent right now, and she got a tea, but she keeps getting bigger. It's phenomenal. And so I put, because I have a new light in my 2x4. Megan got it for me for my birthday in May. So this is the first grow with it, and so it's fun to do. So that I pushed my other light into the 2x3, and so that was a little warmer. And so it's fun juggling new things. I will say I
love getting new
probably
shit for the garden.
yeah, I will say I probably picked the worst time to do it, considering that I've worked like overnight so much that I've missed my entire window to do things. So it's probably like I couldn't address issues that I was like, I got to deal with this. My next day, like this weekend is going to be my first like weekend off. And I've been in business only since April. Yeah. So I'm excited, but it is definitely, I'm surprised I'm in such a good space with my garden right now. Like it is really thriving, not because of me, only in spite of me.
Well, did you just stick to what you knew? You just stuck to the basics and weren't trying like something brand new or
No.
out of the realm of?
A smart person would have, but this is the first round that I'm following your just rerun the Earth box. No, see, a smart person would have kept
full Johnny style.
Yeah, the first a smart person, which we both are. So very smart people, you and I. I would have literally just followed the same thing that's worked ever since. The system that I've literally have had success with. I would have followed that. No, I decided to try something entirely new, and then I have take at one point 72 hours away from the garden when I'm like worried about I'm running out of distilled water. Anywho, thank God for Megan. Seriously, but yeah, no, I tried something completely new. I even added new of some more of the is it Microbe Life products too. So I'm like, I didn't do it right. I did it in like I said earlier today, chaos is the Yag pantheon, dude.
It really is.
It's more fun, but yeah. So new light, new heating issues, all new kinds of stuff.
You're going full Johnny.
I'm going full Johnny, and I got to say, the Juicy loves it. And it's mixed results with the other two. They're both healthy, so I'm digging it. I really am.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I wish I wasn't so busy, because I really do think that this would have been more fun to like dial in and get perfect. But I've got some upcoming plans and stuff that are going to be really fun. And hopefully everything will be died down, but I know it won't. So this is just my new reality. And I got to say, if following your suggestion and rerunning the Earth box and stuff, if this is what it is without very much of my attention, I'm okay with it. Like that's perfect. I don't have to lose, I don't lose sleep over or stress at work about like, shit, I got to do this. Like this is about as little effort as I could possibly give, and it's turning out successful. Knock on wood. So I think anyone who says that like worries about organics or stuff, like literally I've paid maybe a couple hours total with my plants, and most of that time was setting it up, like not even a couple hours, like less than that, right? It's just having a system that works, and having friends that you can bounce ideas off of, and having people in the community that you can send a picture to and be like, hey, I'm busy, does this look okay? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. It's a great community. But I feel like I've been too evangelical today. All I'm saying is like preaching bullshit. So let's get into your garden, dude.
Oh shit, we're almost finished with mine. The only thing I really got left to talk about is my My haze for days. There's 3 of
Yes.
them. I'm gonna probably chop their leaves on Monday and send it off for DNA, and then I've got the white sauce and the applesauce growing just in case. Because only 3 of the 5 haze for days popped. And statistically, I wasn't expecting all of them to be female. So I planted a couple more fem seeds, the white sauce and applesauce, and they both popped and are looking good.
I know. I saw those pictures, and if you haven't joined our Discord, do, because he likes to tease, and it's not just you he's teasing. He literally wouldn't tell me what the seeds were until I got into the record tonight. But yeah, the sauce. I mean, after BGG convinced you, huh? Guilt tripped you to plant some of his genetics.
Yeah, well, I had planted the applesauce, and then I was like, I really wanted the applesauce. And then with him talking about the white sauce being a fast finisher, I said, if I do get enough females, I still will probably plant the applesauce indoors, and I might take that white sauce and throw it out in an earth box outside.
There
And let
you
it
go.
kind of just have a small plant that's going to finish quickly, and boom.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So
I've got some. I've had some conversations I've had with BGG have, like, I've talked to you about this, but I've had pretty much what I was going to grow in my tent backlogged, like we all do, right? And I just recently had a conversation with BGG that changed all that, and really just don't want to thank him, because fuck my whole day up. Like, no, I'm just kidding. But no, he's got some exciting stuff, so I'm really excited to watch how this goes for you.
hell yeah, man, me too. But that's what I have growing. Let's talk about what I have grown.
Okay.
Those hella jellies, man.
Yeah,
I got
you
that
finally
one. Well, I've got 3 cuts. The 12, 9, and 3. Number 3 I brought in because she was the one that I liked the growth pattern on the most. I really liked her terpene profile through the nose. I will say I sampled after 3 weeks hanging. I sampled 9 and 3 yesterday, and the terpenes were just a slight bit louder on number 3, but very similar in their profiles, like very, very similar.
Okay.
They were just a little bit louder on number 3. So number 9, she's out the window. Like 3, I already like the growth. So I'm set with the decision I've made, and her monster crop is really starting to re-veg. That's picking up good here soon.
Monster crop. I heard that was just you would plant with bottled newts.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's something. No, it was a monster crop.
That was probably the funniest thing I've read. We won't go too far into it, but it didn't make any sense. Yeah, it's a great picture too, and it's healthy.
It really is. Oh man, you should see the one out. I got number 12 outside doing the same thing, and less soil than that thing is in. All the old leaves from the flowering bud are all yellow and dying, but all the new growth is just raging green.
Oh hell yeah!
It's fucking crazy. It's twice as much re-veg as on the one that's indoors, because obviously it's getting sunlight, so it's getting pushed a hell of a lot harder. Yeah,
gotta love nature, baby.
But I think what I'm going to do with this number 3, I'm just going to wait for that root ball to gain up a little bit more. I'm not going to take cuts. I'm going to take and put that in with my pepper plants. Ooh. On this other 4x4 tent in that big bed. And I think I'm just going to let that go and really mom out, and then have some really good, healthy fucking cuts to take cuts from.
Fuck yeah.
Instead of just having this little thing, have one cut get enough. And I think I'm either going to do that or take like a 3-gallon or a 5-gallon and keep it in this prop tent. And I think I'm going to put it in with the big tent.
Yeah, I
think it's just going to be the best way to get it healthiest and
low and slow, baby.
Yeah, just let it go.
Probably the proper way to do it. You're doing it the right way, especially if you end up really liking it as medicine. I know you were a little underwhelmed your first partaking, but
well, it's only been hanging for 3 weeks. Now, I will say, same thing I did find with that banana milk. The terpenes were still there. Now I shared a 1 1/4 between my old man and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
We shared one from number 3 and one from number 9, and the terps were still there at almost the end of that 1 1/4.
That's pretty good. That's a good, that's a good barometer.
And it was smooth, like very, very smooth, not harsh at all. So it was like, yeah, man. Both of them had the terps the entire way through. You know how you just they die off your first 4 or 5 pulls.
Yeah.
And you're gone and you're left with fucking just dry weed smoking it the rest of the time where there's no more terps left. This was not the case with those. So I was happy in that regard, but I do feel like my banana milk one I enjoyed more.
Right on.
There was just a different profile to it. I don't know if it was louder, if it was more in your face. Now that red delicious apple that number 3 was giving me from the nose profile while she was growing, that translates, man. I'm still getting that in like your dry pull. Once we rolled the J, you get a dry pull and kind of get a feel for that. It's like, wow. And then it's still there when you're firing it up. So it is exciting in that regards that it is a good smoke. Now, I think what I'm going to do is give it another week hanging. And then I'm going to put it in totes or start to trim some of it up or whatever, and then really give it some time in the jars and then give a full report. But initial reports are good.
That's amazing.
Same cannot be said about the fucking double smile that I grew. That thing, man, I do not enjoy it at all. I'm going to end up making edibles with it.
Really? What don't you like about it? The overall terps or effect?
Yeah, there's no real terps. The effects, it was just hard to get to. It was a harsh smoke, and there is a ton of trichomes. So I know it's going to be good for edibles. If I don't enjoy it to smoke, I'm going to enjoy it one way or another. And we've got this new Levo gummy making machine. You take a packet. They have like gummy packets. You literally pour this powder in there. You mix some water in. You press a button. It waits till it heats up for 7 minutes. And then it's 7 minutes, heats and stirs. And then it shuts off. You add your oil and you stir it for 3 minutes, and then it's done. And you take your fucking eyedropper and you fill your gummy molds. It was like, dude, that's super easy.
That's pretty dope.
So making gummy edibles was like, it's super easy now with that little machine. Worth it, every penny of it. So I'm not going to beat myself up over the fact that I don't enjoy this plant this particular way, because I have other ways to still medicate from it. So,
yeah, I mean, I have to use my Mango Smile pretty much only just for edibles and shit, because I only got like the tops off, really. Yeah, it's fine. I had to pull it early. I was over it anyway. It was like 100 fucking days. It was anyhow.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's fine. It's the as long as you can use it for medicine at all, right? Like,
yeah, yep.
There's no disappointment. I'd be stoked if I had a fucking shit ton of gummies.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
If I didn't have to eat a fucking ton of them to feel anything. I'm so jealous.
I'd say I make my oils strong, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can eat less gummies. I found like about 3 can usually give me a pretty good feeling.
What do you think? How many milligrams do you think is in each 3? Like, or
if I had to guess, I'm guessing maybe between 30 and 60.
Okay. See, I don't know. I haven't had good luck. Like I said, like we've had multiple times. We don't know if it's, years of alcohol abuse on the liver, because that's where it's absorbed into or stuff. But I don't feel shit until like 500 milligrams.
Really? Holy cow.
Yeah. Like nothing. Like you get those because there's like 1,000 milligram chocolate bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you can break them off into what, I don't remember how many pieces there are, but like 35. Like, no, I'd have to eat like half of that to feel anything.
Wow, man. Wow. Some people are just hypersensitive and some people are just hyper insensitive.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can remember a time in my life where they did work, though. So I think that's just my own anecdotal evidence that alcohol is indeed a poison.
Well,
but it's all good. If that's the worst that came out of it, I think I win. I wouldn't trade it, a thing in the world.
Well, you win and the rest of us win because it's Sunday and we need a sermon.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. Actually, no, I didn't. I was thinking about this week, and BGG brought it up. I think last time we talked to, but he was talking about how he liked to shout out his team because he's put together such a great team, and I think the lesson that we should all take from that is that if you surround yourself with good people, you're bound to have good days, right? Like some of the best things that happen to you and happen around good company. And I guess the opposite is true too. Surround yourself with fools and foolish shit happens. But yeah, man, surround yourself with good people. It'll make yourself look better. Don't be a dick, mind your own business, and go with Frog.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace.
Peace.